Hey there, welcome back to another top 1000 vinyl videos from my own personal collection. And just like last time, we're still in the library here because we've got a nice warm fire, and to be honest, it's a comfy sofa. Comfy sofa, can't go wrong. Even got Christmas decorations behind me. Nice, isn't it? But moving on, because I've been told that I ramble a lot, so sorry about that. Not by you, you're really nice about it. It's by the boss upstairs. You know, ooh, I have to edit all this. Ooh, you go off on a tangent, and it's just like, ooh. You can go and watch a vlog video, which you can get like 20 minutes of it being like that. Anyway, out from my my vault of vinyl, I have pulled 3 more great albums which I think are well deserving of their place in these top 1000. And remember, it's kind of my choice, and also it has to be that I own a copy on vinyl. So there are records where I think they're absolutely amazing, but I just don't happen to have a vinyl copy, which means they can't appear in this list. But first up, without further ado, I'm going to take it out of its sleeve there. I've got a lot of these. It's like a PVC sleeve. Whenever I buy new records now, I make a habit of buying a sleeve for it to go in. They're only about 50p each when you buy a record in places like HMV and FOP Records and Piccadilly Records. But it's well worth it. It stops the edges from getting nicked. Not as in stolen, as in, you know, like rubbed, scuffed. I don't know, it's weird northern lingo that I come out with. Anyway, without further ado, first choice. This is a group called Savlonic. And the album is called Neon. I don't know why that's showing up there. And this is just a great computer-generated album cover. And this is actually born out of, certainly when I was a teenager, into my early 20s, when I was doing a lot of work on radio. I used to have a thing whereby, yeah, I bought a lot of records, a lot of well-known stuff, a lot of chart stuff, a lot of singles, a lot of albums. But I used to have a thing that every time I went into the record shop, I'd pick out 3 or 4 albums of groups I'd never heard of. Usually they were debut albums, sometimes they weren't. And I'd have a listen to them, and I would leave that shop with one of those albums. I would buy it. It was simply a case of which ones look pretty, and I'll have a listen, and if they turn out to be really good, I'll buy them. And there's a couple actually that are featured in this series so far, if you go and have a look at previous videos. But this was an album where I thought, yeah, oh, come on, let's live the dream, rekindle some youth. And that cover just really caught my eye. And it was newly released, never heard of Savlonic, and just intrigued me. So I asked them to put it on. And it's, if you ever watched the film Kung Fury, if you haven't, what are you doing? You should have watched it. Now, pause this video, go away, watch Kung Fury, and then come back. You back? Right, anyway, remember the music in that soundtrack. This sounds like it's out of the same mould. Very sort of 80s, synthesised, but there's a real depth to it. A real, je ne sais quoi. I can't speak French, I don't know why I pretend. But it's really well done, and every song grabs you. And quite often with a lot of albums, you feel like there's some really good songs and a lot of filler. There's no filler on this, none whatsoever. And when I was listening to it, I thought, I wonder, who are these people? So I went away and looked them up. And imagine my surprise when it turned out that Savlonic is actually 2 people. In fact, mostly 1 person. But it's only 2 people, even though all their videos are animated, a bit like Gorillas. But the drummer doesn't exist at all. They're a drum machine, but in the videos they're animated as some person who doesn't say anything. But it's not only the brainchild of Weebles and Bob. Well, Weebles. I'm trying to remember his name, and I can't remember his name. But certainly there's, you know, stuff like Go to Kenya and Magical Trevor. Everybody loves Magical Trevor. All that kind of stuff. It's that guy. Badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom. And I'm thinking, gosh, I used to watch those little flash animations back when I was at university. I mean, like, we're going way back. I was really big on his stuff. You know, you kind of drift away. Pa, pa, give me pa! And it turns out this is one of his later projects. And the entire album has been funded through Kickstarter. And it's actually the second album that they've done. Can't find the first album. But certainly I was very surprised to then learn that on this wonderful pink vinyl, I picked up what is probably actually quite a limited release on a physical format, and I was not disappointed. And as I said before, the best similarity to it that I can describe that people were probably more familiar with is it sounds a lot like the music that was recorded for the Kung Fury soundtrack. But it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Can't recommend it more highly. The next album I've picked, we're going a lot more mainstream, to be quite honest. And this is an album. I picked up my vinyl copy quite recently, but I've had a CD copy since it originally came out. And I think it always was available initially, at least initially, on vinyl. It's just really hard to get. But I have a feeling it's been reissued. And this is Hot Fuss by The Killers. And you know, much more conventional. We've got a single disc, and I have a feeling that if you are lucky enough to track down an original release, it may actually be gatefold vinyl or certainly 2 vinyl discs. Don't quote me on that. I think I've only ever seen one original pressed copy of it, and I'm not quite sure whether it was a double album or not. But this, we've got a standard black vinyl. It's got all the songs on, and it's quite a heavy-duty pressing, and that's the good thing that we get now. Is we've kind of left behind us those cheap, flimsy, floppy pressings that sound like you're doing sounds as part of a Rolf Harris song when you flex it. We've got some nice sort of vibrant band photographs there on the inside. No lyrics, nothing. I'm just looking down there if there's any other extra inserts. No, nothing at all. And it's not a gatefold sleeve. I've left it in its cellophane, and really, you know, just a bit of extra protection for it. Nothing else down in there. I think it may have come with a code to get an MP3 copy download, but certainly it's a very understated album cover. I have a feeling that these buildings might be some of those sham buildings that are on the border between North and South Korea, which are in North Korea to kind of try and lie to people that somehow North Korea is some kind of paradise, when in fact it's a complete shithole. But I could be wrong on that. It's certainly, that's what the image makes me think of. And this is certainly a 24-carat gold record. There is not a bad track on this. It's great. I mean, if the Killers put out a greatest hits album, they could do no worse than just put out this album. Not a bad track on it. I mean, it opens with Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. Great track. Mr. Brightside is track 2. Smile Like You Mean It is track 3. Somebody Told Me is track 4. Now, what more do you want? I mean, that is going straight in there, and it's like bam, 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 bam. It's a great album. I could listen to this all day, and certainly the CD copy. I used to put it on in work, in the truck, and I would, you know, I sing badly along to all these tracks, and I know all the lyrics off by heart, and I give a really, really bad off-key presentation of all of these songs, but it's great. I mean, these are great karaoke tracks. I can't sing its praises more highly, and I was quite surprised when I looked back through the list, because it's been a while since the last Top 1000 vinyl videos, thinking, I'm sure I've done this before, and it turns out I haven't. So let's put that to one side. And the final album I've picked, it's a group that I've never actually heard of, but certainly when I looked them up, they've been around since sort of 2000, 2001. And this is actually, strangely, mysteriously enough, their 4th album. And it's a group called The Kills. And the album is Ash and Ice. And the only reason I came across this, never heard of them, still even now, I'm left wondering. I have a feeling that they're bigger in America than they are here. They certainly played the Isle of Wight Festival this year, and they have toured a little bit around Europe. But certainly in terms of UK venues, as far as I'm aware, Isle of Wight is the only place they've played on these shores. Even then, I suppose Isle of Wight's not quite on these shores. But certainly throughout 2016, they were touring America promoting this, and I have a feeling this is more of their kind of break into the mainstream album, rather than the previous two, which I still can't find them. But the reason that I was attracted to this, I was in FOP Records in Manchester, and they had music playing, and this track I was listening to, and you know when you're browsing the racks, normally the music is just background music and it just washes over you. But in this case, I became aware of this track, and I'm thinking, that's a really good drum beat, I like that track. And I was listening more listening to the record than thumbing through the vinyl. And the next track came on, I thought, it's still quite good. And the third track came on, I thought, it's still really good. And I thought, hold on, it sounds to me like it's the same group. So I got Zoe with a little app on her phone to, I call it Zit It, because played far too much GTA 4, where there's like a pseudo app in that where you can get it to tell you what the tracks are that's playing on the radio. Well, she did that for this. And the track that was playing at the time happened to be called Black Tar. And I'll be honest, it was just so awesome. I haven't really done this album justice by playing through most of the rest of it all that much. But if there's one track that makes this deal worth the money alone, it's Black Tar. It's just great. It's got this kind of melancholy, Death in Vegas type of a feel to it. And it just draws you in. There's an element of one of the other albums that we've had in this top 1000 is The Prisoner by the Jezebels, and this is like a more melancholy version of that. Very dark, but really, really great. Everything just works. And when I listen to music, I tend to, in my head, I can kind of disassemble it, and I can listen to each of the different instruments and the vocals and stuff and appreciate each one of them on their own. And the package with this, certainly the engineer has done their job very, very well. You can pick out the individual instruments and the vocalists, and it's just fabulous. There's not a bad note on this album. It comes in this very understated sort of matte black finish sleeve, but with the gold leaf. I doubt it's real gold leaf, certainly not for the price I paid for it. It was about 20 quid, which has sort of become the de rigueur price for new LPs these days. But what we've got inside, let's have a look. It's 2 LP, and we've got this kind of eclectic, almost an 80s style collage of various pictures and designs. And it's pretty good, you know, it's like nice. And then we've got the full lyrics sheet on the back of each of these, which it's always nice for the little slightly out of tune, tone deaf karaoke individual in me. And there's really nothing to not like about this. And it's a group that I'm going to investigate more. Certainly, I've never heard of them before, and you know, I really need to learn more about them. Anyway, I hope this video has been really informative to you. Don't forget to like it and share it too. And also subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know about new videos as they come on up. And watch back through, we've got quite a bit of back catalogue now. Anyway, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying until next time, you take very good care of yourself. Bye for now. Oh, I've got a frog in my throat. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Oh, right, there we are. Kermit's out. But Kermit, I can't do the voice. But Kermit, Kermit, come to me, Kermit. I'm afraid my Miss Piggy very quickly descends into Yoda. Come to you, shall I? Oh, that really hurts. I used to do that really well, actually. I could do whole skits on the radio talking as Master Yoda, but time and age has not been gentle on my vocal cords. But anyway, like, going back some there, back to where we were.